There are plenty of superheroes who have godlike powers, but very few have managed to become actual gods. Welcome to Top 10 Nerd. I'm Andrew Boyd, and today we will be taking a look at the top 10 superheroes who became gods. We aren't counting heroes who have always been gods, like Thor, but the ones who attained godhood, even if only for a short while. Let's dive in. Number 10. Storm. Ororo Munroe is descended from a long line of African priestesses who all have white hair and the potential to use magic. Her mother was a princess who married an American photojournalist and moved with him to Manhattan, where Storm was born. They moved to Cairo when she was 6 months old, but when she was 5, her parents were killed, leaving her an orphan. She lived as a thief for a while before eventually making her way to Kenya, where her weather-controlling powers made her be worshipped as a goddess. Now, this doesn't make her a full-on god, but that came later when Black Panther told her that her ancestors had passed down the gift of godhood, and with the power of the faith of the Wakandans, she leveled up and became a true goddess. Number 9. Wonder Woman. As stated in the intro, we aren't talking about characters who were always god, but Diana, Prince of the Amazons, is technically a demigod, so she manages to qualify. Despite her half-god status, she did eventually join the big leagues when she became the mentee to Ares, the god of war. The two worked together until they were forced to fight the Firstborn. Firstborn wants to kill Ares to become the new god of war, and although Diana and Ares valiantly hold off Firstborn's army, Diana is eventually forced to kill Ares herself so that she will inherit the mantle instead of the villain. This makes Wonder Woman the new god of war, a role she keeps until Superman Wonder Woman Futures End #1, when she ascends to Mount Olympus and becomes the new god of peace instead. Number 8. Doctor Strange. After Stephen Strange lost to Loki in a magic tournament, he was stripped of his home, his cloak, the Eye of Agamotto, and the title of Sorcerer Supreme. This put Strange at a severe disadvantage against Loki, and he was forced to travel to Asgard to find the mythical World Tree to try and even the playing field. After sacrificing the body of a dead dog to the tree granted Strange a huge amount of magical power, more than he had ever known. So much magic that he declared that he was no longer mortal, but was now the god of magic. He used these new powers to fight Loki before teaming up with him and Sentry to defeat the Void. It turned out that the tournament had actually been an illusion by Loki to trick Strange into giving up the Sorcerer Supreme mantle. So, Strange gave up his godlike powers and returned to the humble position of being one of the strongest magic users in the Marvel Universe. Number 7. Hal Jordan. When Darkseid and the Anti-Monitor went to war and Darkseid was defeated, it left a huge power vacuum in the universe. Darkseid's forces, the Parademons, attacked the base of the Green Lantern Corps, the planet Oa, in order to claim their power battery for their own and merge it with their own alien tech, the Mother Box. They fought off all the Green Lanterns and all seemed lost until the arrival of Earth's most powerful Green Lantern, Hal Jordan. Hal merged with the battery and the Mother Box, and as a result was given unlimited power and knowledge and became the God of Light. He used this power to wipe out the Parademons and restore the fallen Lanterns to life. He recognized that being a god would mean giving up his free will and decided to abandon his new powers and return to being a regular Green Lantern. Number 6. Spawn. When the demonically powered hero Spawn discovered that his ex's children were really Satan and God, he came into contact with an even more cosmically powered being known as Mother, who had granted God and Satan their powers and given them Earth as a realm to rule. Disappointed with her children's constant fighting, she decided to give Spawn the infamous forbidden fruit, which will give him the necessary powers to defeat the two opposing forces and force them into peace. He defeats God and Satan with his new god powers, and then to top it off, recreates the Earth. Number 5. Superman. During the build-up to the Darkseid War that gave Hal Jordan his god powers, Superman and Lex Luthor were transported to Apokolips and forced to work together to fight off Darkseid's forces. They realized that since there was no sunlight, Superman was rapidly losing his powers. Lex came up with a cunning plan and told the Man of Steel to fly into one of the planet's fire pits, as they were technically filled with the fire of a sun. Although it returned his powers, the fire pit's dark energy transformed Superman into a negative god of strength with none of the morals that prevents the Man of Steel from going full Homelander on everyone. He beat the crap out of Luthor, destroying his armor and telling him that if he ever returned to Earth, the God of Strength would kill him. Number 4. Wolverine. When the X-Men were forced to face off against the Horde, a villain being powered by a crystal called the Ultimate Vision, the mutants seemed to have met their match as Horde defeated all of them, killing Wolverine in the process. Fortunately for fans of the fuzzy Canadian, a single drop of his blood fell onto the crystal, which resulted resulted in him being resurrected with all the powers of a cosmic god. Rather than use the powers to make every redhead in the Marvel Universe fall in love with him, Wolverine used his new powers to defeat the Horde and then gave the powers up. Which is noble, but let's be real, it's probably a lot easier to give up godlike powers when you're already functionally immortal. Number 3. Batman. After years of putting up with the other Justice League members poking fun at the fact that he had no powers, Batman got the last laugh when he was granted the cosmic powers of a god. This was before the Darkseid War, when the heroes had to face off with the Keeper of Metron, the keeper of all knowledge in the universe, who sits atop the powerful Mobius chair. Wonder Woman used her lasso to dethrone Metron, but the chair was about to summon a boom tube to escape. In order to keep the Mobius chair from disappearing, Batman muttered a quick, "It's Mobin time," to himself and sat on the chair himself, being instantly transformed into the God of Knowledge. His first use of the infinite knowledge was to confirm the identity of his parents' killer and to try and find out the true identity of the Joker. Even as a god, he was shocked when the chair informed him that there was actually 3 Jokers, but that's a different story. Number 2. The Flash. Despite all the flack Superman gets for being overpowered, no one really seems to talk about how ridiculously overpowered the Scarlet Speedster is. During the Darkseid War, Darkseid tried to win the conflict using one of his greatest weapons, the Black Racer, who had become the new god of death. The Anti-Monitor countered this by taking control of Barry Allen and making him merge with the Black Racer, resulting in the Flash becoming the new god of death. It was this god who the Anti-Monitor used to kill Darkseid, creating a power vacuum in the universe whose ripple effects are still being felt in the DC universe to this day. Number 1. Iron Man. When Iron Man and his space friends went off planet to fight the villain Korvac, who planned to use the power cosmic to give himself godlike powers, Iron Man was unable to stop him. In a desperate last-ditch effort, Tony decided to also expose himself to the power cosmic. He was granted vast godlike powers and used them to fight Korvac in a massive interstellar battle until the gods of the Marvel Universe intervened and took Korvac into custody. Tony decided he would use his new powers to fix Earth and started by granting everyone in New York a Tony Stark level IQ. Although Reed Richards complained that this had actually made him dumber, everything seemed to be going alright. However, as usually happens when Iron Man plays God, things soon began to go horribly wrong. Any other heroes who have reached a divine status that we didn't have time to mention here? Educate your fellow comic fans in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe for more Top 10 Nerd.